Corelli's Mr. Walker against the shot clock. Jalen Sherrod. Eighth three-point make of the game. The Cougs spinning, scoring.
Well, what a roll the CU women's basketball team is on. There's some great highlights. The Buffs knock off by 2. Washington State last Friday night at the Event Center. Hi, everybody. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. We come to you from Corelli's. Monday nights around here from 7 until 8 o'clock for Buffs Prime Time with head coaches J.R. Payne, Tad Bull, always a player guest as well. And how about the CU women? Second year in a row. They've won 20 games in a row as they sweep the Washington schools last week at the Event Center. And by the way, we saw Jalen Sherrod right there for the first time this year. She was named the Pac-12 Player of the Week. And here at Corelli's, we caught up with the head coach, J.R. Payne. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. How about the Colorado women? 20 wins on the season. Back-to-back 20-win seasons. Number 21 in the country as the poll came out today. That's the highest you've been ranked all season long, I think. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. We're hoping to keep climbing as much as we can.
Coming off sweeps, 71-68 over Washington State on Friday, then on Sunday, a dominating win, 65-43. This thing, I mean, I know this isn't true. It kind of feels like it's just on cruise control. You're playing so well, but I mean, the way you're coming out and playing every single game, there's a consistency about this team, right?
There is a level of consistency. I think every coach in the country would say they strive for consistency. Yeah. I think it's a credit to our upperclassmen who, are doing a great job of leading and holding us to a really high standard, pretty much every day, even in practice and things like that. But yeah, it's been great so far. We're just trying to keep it going.
I mentioned they're ranked 21st in the country this morning. Did I see this afternoon that Jalen Sherrod was named the Pac-12 Player of the Week?
Yes.
Huh?
I know. I messaged her and said, finally, it's about time. But she was incredible this weekend and very much deserved that honor.
Talk about the way she's playing right now for you.
Yeah, she's playing great. She had a big surgery a couple of years ago and has really bounced back well from that. She worked incredibly hard on her three-point shooting all spring, all summer, all fall, because that was an area that was a weakness for her. So shooting a high percentage. Her assisted turnover numbers, I think she leads the league in steals. She's top 5 in assists and all that. So she's playing great. She had career high 27 points Friday night, 15 in the fourth quarter alone to spark a comeback win over Washington State. She's just absolutely fearless.
That game right there was a gut check win for you to come back. Talk about the way you guys performed there in the fourth.
Yeah, we played well. We went and tied at halftime, played well enough. Washington State's a really good team. And then third quarter, we were just the pits. Like, we were bad. We couldn't score. We couldn't get a stop. It was, and in the timeout, sort of in between the third and fourth quarter, I think it was T that said it to the team. He said, this is starting to feel a lot like USC, guys. And that was the game where we just didn't have the energy we needed to win, or we weren't playing well enough to win. And so the whole team, I think that kind of woke everybody up like, whoa, we can't let that happen again.
Right.
And so Jalen, obviously set the tone the way that she played that fourth quarter, but the whole team responded, rallied. Huge comeback victory for us.
That says something, though, about this roster, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, they respond. They respond in practice. They respond, you can challenge them, directly, indirect, like whatever it takes to coach them up. They're willing to be coached.
That's part of the ownership coaches talk about, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Because one thing, if you're the driving force behind you and your staff, it's another thing when they take ownership, and in those kind of situations, they go back out and go, we got this, coach.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of what we were laughing after the game. Like, Jalen, going into the fourth quarter, kind of looked at everybody and said, don't worry, I got this. Because it's just the way that she took over. But truly, in huddles, like when things aren't necessarily going our way, it's not always us as coaches that are doing the rah-rah, come on, let's go. A lot of times it's Jalen, a lot of times it's Quay. Yeah. Frida will say her piece, and just our leadership steps up when we need them.
I'm thinking about what you're talking about, Jay. That we've always known she was talented, right? Yeah. But becoming an upperclassman like she is now, and taking that kind of ownership and having that kind of persona, if you will, that's what you want to see as immature.
Oh yeah, I'm just, I messaged her when she got the award, just really proud. Not of the award. That's nice, but proud of just the growth that she's had, this year, and trying to be a leader and trying to be, accountable and consistent and be what our team needs her to be.
Back-to-back 20-win season. Well, what does that say about your program right now and what you've built here?
Yeah, I just think when we first got here, we really tried to recruit people that were about the same things that we wanted to be about. Toughness, hard work, discipline, put a big chip on your shoulder, overcome, And those, I think one of our first classes graduated last year in Hollingshed and Peanut Tutele and those guys. But Jalen and her class, Kendall Weta, those younger players, they were all recruited with the same mindset. We want to be the toughest team in the country. We want to be the most hardest working team, most disciplined team. And they came here for that. We don't have a bunch of 5-star kids. We don't have any star kids.
Yeah.
But they work really hard. They believe in each other, and they're about the same things we're about.
So here you're sitting. I think you're third right now in the Pac-12. You're right up there, just nipped at the heels of the two teams ahead of you at this point in time. That when you're out, I would think you're always recruiting. You're a coach.
Yeah.
That says something. You've got a new product, if you will, you're kind of selling to.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just, hey, let's get better. Like, okay, we did get better. Now we're good. So come help us be great. Where we can truly talk about competing for a championship is different than one day we want to win a championship, but we legitimately could talk about that now.
There's a head coach, J.R. Payne, to CU women now 21st in the country in the latest AP college basketball poll as they get ready now for the stretch run of the season. 4 games left. They're at the Arizona schools coming up this week, and then they've got the Bay Area schools to wrap up the regular season before they head to Vegas for the Pac-12 Conference Tournament. Speaking of women's basketball, coming up next here in the Stampede, a reunion last week at the Event Center as the Elite Eight 1993 team was back in town. Back in a moment.